Being triggered is a completely natural and normal part of human relationships. I want to welcome you to this Halloween special where I am a koala, but I won't be wearing it any longer because it's not actually all that comfortable. So in the context of a relationship, it's normal to actually be triggered. It's very natural because a lot of our initial wounds in life are developed in relation to other people. And then we have all these sorts of mechanisms so that we avoid that pain. We don't have to face that humiliation, embarrassment, shame, whatever it was. We don't have to feel that again. We don't have to experience that again. We have so many mechanisms that go into maintaining that. And in the context of a relationship, all this kind of stuff is going to come out. So it's natural to feel triggered. So a relationship isn't just about getting what you want out of the other person, and then when you don't get that, you close down and you basically hate them. Right? There's a lot more that it's actually about, which I'm going to be talking about in this video. And without some of this information, it's going to be really hard to actually navigate a relationship. And without really integrating this information specifically, it's going to be really hard to actually navigate a relationship and really build a very healthy one. So I want to start us off by saying that relationships are about survival. This is a very core part of relationships. We're getting survival needs met: sex, security, connection, etc. But humans don't have to just remain in survival forever. We can move beyond survival needs to self-actualization and self-transcendence. This is called being needs. And this is incredibly essential for having a very healthy connection. You can actually check out one of my previous videos. It's called Conscious Relationships, 12 Signs of a Healthy, Intimate Connection. I believe I might have uploaded it about 2 days ago on October 29th. Pretty sure. So a core thing that a relationship is about is learning to remain open to life as a whole. A relationship is showing you the pattern of closing down to the present and to life, and to rejecting it, to avoiding it. And a relationship is going to teach you how to open back up again. It's going to start showing you all the ways in which you protect yourself unnecessarily, right? All the ways you close down unnecessarily, and teach you to open back up. If you are involved in a conscious relationship, it will do that. So a key word there was unnecessarily, meaning that all this defensiveness isn't actually needed. It was needed when you were very young and you didn't have any capacity to regulate emotion because you didn't have the emotional intelligence. You didn't even have like the biology that was ready to do that yet. It was still in development. Right? So it was needed for you to shut down and to repress and to avoid and disassociate when you're really young, because that's all you could do. But now that you're a grown adult, you don't actually need to do that anymore. You can be an emotionally intelligent, stable human being who's very grounded within themselves. Moving on, another very core part about what relationships are about and what they'll really teach you, if you're involved in a very conscious relationship, is about being radically honest and transparent. Of course, with your partner, but I want to focus right here more so with yourself for a little bit, and then we'll move on to the partner. So it's going to teach you, like I said, all the ways in which you're shutting down, closing, avoiding, and our minds are very self-deceptive. The human mind doesn't like to look at its reactivity, its triggers, its pain, its delusions, its biases. It's kind of like ugly. You know, it's like we don't like to admit any of this stuff about ourselves. So we kind of avoid it and we just look the other way. And essentially a relationship is going to be bringing out a lot of this exact stuff. It's going to be bringing out a lot of the stuff that you refuse to integrate into your self-concept, into your sense of identity, into your sense of self. And it's up to you to really begin to reintegrate all of that shadow-related stuff. And once you're able to be radically honest and transparent within yourself, you can actually learn to be radically honest and transparent with your partner, which is going to allow you to be actually vulnerable. Now let's take a little bit of a look of what vulnerability is. Essentially, it's when you're letting those protective mechanisms down so you can kind of just settle into the present, and then you can actually be as you are. Let's break that down just a little bit more for some extra clarity. Those defensive protective mechanisms, right, they're kind of broken down. You are seeing very directly, and your body's experiencing that they're not needed anymore. You feel safe to kind of let them go, right? As a byproduct of that, you're able to kind of settle more into the present. regardless of what you're feeling, regardless of what the experience is. It doesn't have to be a particular experience. It's just you're able to settle into the present, really whatever it is. And you're able to just be as you are, meaning that if you feel anxious, if you feel afraid, if you feel shame, if you feel guilt, if you have a need you have to express, if you feel curious, excited, it's like this full spectrum of you is like allowed to emerge. It's allowed to exist. That's what really just being as you are is. It's just what is your most natural and like open, authentic self that is allowed to emerge. Right? All those totally organic and natural and honest sort of impulses and expressions, etc. And without really being radically honest, you can't really get to that point because authenticity is about being honest. Authenticity is literally a truthful expression. Right? Without the truth component, you can't be authentic. So there's this kind of mix between feeling emotionally safe, like feeling safe in the moment, and truth. These things are going to go together quite a lot right here. Another core thing that this is really about is learning to navigate the emotional and psychological complexities that come with being human, learning to set boundaries, learning to express your needs, learning to really kind of just navigate your life fully. A relationship is really where the rubber begins to meet the road, especially if you've been doing like this sort of psychological, spiritual work for a long time. A relationship is where a lot of this stuff will kind of just begin to really meet the road. It gets very practical here. You have to learn how to actually be grounded in yourself, how to actually have respect for yourself, respect your own needs, listen to your body. You have to learn how to actually assert yourself when you have to be assertive, and then have the flexibility to, of course, also step back and just like surrender. So essentially, a relationship is going to test you over and over and over and over again until you finally open up, be truthful, grounded, and just stable within yourself in the present. All of your shadows, all the parts where you avoid within yourself, this is all going to be coming out, especially within the context of a conscious relationship. And of course, that doesn't sound very attractive on the surface. It's like, oh man, I kind of just want what I want. I kind of want to feel secure and loved and have sex and all this stuff. But I promise you, this is actually extremely valuable. I promise you that a lot of the survival-oriented stuff is going to get a bit old relatively fast. Not that it's bad, not that you can't do it, but that a lot of the real joy in life comes from self-actualization and self-transcendence. It comes from raising your consciousness. It comes from having a higher level of consciousness. And then, funny enough, you bring that higher consciousness into all the survival stuff, into how you make love, how you interact, how you even, to jump to a different context situation in life, how you run your business. Right? The kind of career and work you do and value you provide for people. Right? So a core part of relationships, I'm just going to repeat this one more time, is learning to navigate the emotional and psychological complexities that come with being human. Really getting clear about what your needs are, what your values are. Learning to be fully grounded within your wants, needs, and desires. Right? Rather than disowning them or kind of like avoiding them, not being able to express them at an appropriate time. All of this kind of stuff is all going to be coming out, and it can be scary, it can be triggering, you can get reactive, etc. And that trigger, right, that fear doesn't mean that the relationship can't work or that it's like a bad relationship. It's more so just pointing towards something in you. Again, this kind of information only works within the context of a conscious relationship. If it's like physically, emotionally abusive, of course it doesn't work. If it's not financially safe and you don't have the money to provide for yourselves and basically get, a food or a shelter, it's impossible, right? Some of these basic survival needs need to be met so then you can kind of move beyond them and not be so trapped in them. But that's it for this video. If you're interested in working with me one-to-one, you can apply to do so. Link is in the pinned comment. Take it easy.